Entering the 20th century, France seemed peaceful. However, tension enveloped Europe. Alliances were formed, rivalries intensified. The world was preparing for the greatest war in history. In 1914, war broke out in Europe. France mobilized millions of its citizens. Cities transformed into logistical centers. Soldiers departed for the front lines. World War I had begun. World War I turned into trench warfare. Soldiers lived in mud and rain. Attack after attack failed to break through the defenses. Thousands died for a few meters of land. The war became a deadly stalemate. Verdun became a symbol of French resilience. For months, the attacks were relentless. Hundreds of thousands died without a clear victory. France held out, but at a heavy price. This was a war of attrition. In 1917, France was at its lowest point. The army was exhausted and began to mutiny. The people bore the brunt of the war, but Allied help arrived. The tide of the war began to turn. In 1918, the war finally ended. France was on the winning side. However, millions of lives had been lost. Cities and villages were damaged. The wounds of war would take a long time. The war ended at the negotiating table. The Treaty of Versailles severely punished Germany. France felt safe for a while, but new tensions were created. This peace was fragile. The Great War had ended, but the peace that followed was fragile. Economic crises shook Europe. New powers emerged amidst the chaos. The world was once again heading towards. Amidst new threats, France prepares to defend itself. The country is caught between the hope of peace and the reality of approaching war. History is being tested once. The year 1940 was a dark point for France. The defenses collapsed quickly. Millions of citizens fled. The government retreated. France fell, but its history was not yet over. Under the occupation, life changed drastically. Food was rationed, freedoms were curtailed, but behind the fear, the seeds of resistance began to. Amidst the pressure of occupation, French citizens began to connect with each other. Information was shared discreetly. Solidarity grew behind closed doors. This was the foundation. The resistance no longer stood alone. The resistance network began to connect. Information was sent. The time was set. France awaited the day of liberation. The year 1944 was a turning point. The occupation began to crumble. City after city was liberated. People returned to the streets. France emerged. The war ended, but the great work began. France rebuilt its country. From the ruins, a new order arose. This was the beginning of modern France. After the war, France chose a new path. The Fifth Republic was born. The country was strengthened from within. In the midst of the Cold War, France asserted its role in the late 1960s, France entered a phase of social change. A new generation spoke out. Demands for rights and freedoms grew stronger. French society began to change direction. Entering the era of globalization, France opened itself to the world. European integration transformed the economy. Mobility increased. France moved as part of the global order. Entering the 21st century, France faces new challenges. Social change continues. National identity is being tested, but stability remains. From empires, revolutions, wars, to the modern nation, France continues to change without forgetting its history. The past shapes the